This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. Police here in the capital are aggressively investigating a shooting incident that occurred in the area of Sandilands Village shortly after 5 a.m. on Saturday. This shooting leaves a 39-year-old male in hospital. Initial reports reveal that while getting into his vehicle parked at the front of his home in Infinity Close, the victim was approached by two males with firearms who ordered him to give up his vehicle. However, the victim resisted and was shot multiple times above the body by the suspects. The suspects then fled the scene on foot, and the victim was transported to the Princess Margaret Hospital in a private vehicle where he is listed in serious condition. Police are aggressively searching for the gunman responsible for a shooting incident in the Fox Hill community that unfolded in the early morning hours this morning. Two adult males were injured as a result. Police said sometime around 12:20 a.m. the victims were at a party in the area of Step Street when they were shot by an unknown assailant. Both victims suffered injuries to their lower bodies and were transported to the Princess Margaret Hospital in private vehicles where they are receiving medical care. Anyone with information regarding this or any other criminal matters, you're urged to contact Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS. That's 328-8477. Meantime, an adult male is in hospital with serious burns to 70% of his body following a tragic accident at a local marina here in New Providence. The incident reportedly occurred sometime around 2:30 p.m. on Sunday. Police reports say the man was burned during an accident while refueling his boat. He was subsequently transported to the Princess Margaret Hospital, where he remains in doctor's care. Active police investigations continue there as well. The past few months have been increasingly hard on Bahamians because of the increased cost of living and inflation. In light of this, the government will increase its social assistance payouts. Minister of Social Services Obi Wilscombe says because there is still a great demand, assistance will go up by 10%.
But obviously we've been impacted by inflation. We've been impacted by situations happening in our country, whether it's unemployment in some of our islands. We've seen the numbers increase. I'm very happy, however, that we've been able to increase the subsidies, and the provisions now will go up beginning next week, 10%. So in short, if you were to get $84, like a single person might get $84, now they'll get $100. And so it goes across the board. And then we're going to see how best to assist with rental assistance. We have to increase funeral assistance. We have, over the past several months, we've seen a number of cases of health care. And we have provided a large number of Bahamians with assistance in health care.
Minister Wilsham goes on to say that the number of people needing food assistance in New Providence and Grand Bahama has been fluctuating, while the other family islands are doing much better in terms of the amount of assistance needed.
Abaco and those islands are doing much better, but Abaco is still hurting because of the circumstances. And so along the island chain, we try to provide as much assistance as we possibly can. And every day our job is to try to break the back of poverty. And to do so, we have to introduce new programs. We have to find ways to get our people back to work. And as we get them back to work, get them out of this assistance program where we make them independent as opposed to being dependent.
No, where are we with the
working on it.
In addition to tackling poverty, Minister Wilscombe says as a part of his presentation on the midterm budget this coming Wednesday, he will announce that the RISE and the PROMISE programs will be brought together to ensure that health, education, and job components are added. The RISE program, launched in 2015, is aimed to improve the health and education of children who live in poverty areas, giving them the opportunity to rise out of poverty. While speaking at the Organization for Responsible Governance Economic Roundtable discussion, Minister of Economic Affairs Michael Halkitis addressed how to sustainably maintain the country's economic development for the next 50 years by providing an environment that fosters healthy small and medium-sized businesses, as well as expanding the tourism sector.
As we know, tourism is our dominant sector, and it will remain our dominant economic sector for quite some time. But as we look to have a more broad-based participation, we need to really address this 50-year plus question, this question that has been with us for 50 years or more, this question of linkages with the tourism industry, particularly in the area of agriculture, craft, and other inputs so that we can maximize our return from the tourism industry.
As the minister responsible for the country's economic state, he revealed where the Bahamas currently stands and where the government is trying to take tourism.
The second thing I want to just flag was when we talk about beyond 50, which is as we move on from this year, is that the recent transformation or the ongoing transformation of the tourism industry in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, where we see more demand for small resorts, more demand for remote, quiet island destinations, more demand for beach destinations, more demand for a local experience in terms of food, in terms of tours, in terms of accommodation, in terms of the appetite for sustainable tourism presents an opportunity for us as a destination, a multi-island destination and a destination with a beautiful environment, presents a real tangible opportunity for more Bahamians to become involved as owners in the tourism industry, given that shift in tourism appetite.
Minister Halkitis believes there can be an advantage in the changing climate of the tourism industry through a strong investment policy, as well as creative funding and training mechanisms so that Bahamians are able to take advantage of the.
Having said that, I think one of the major challenges that we have and the issues that we need to address is how we find ways to mobilize private sector capital. The government has tried, various administrations with various organizations, the Development Bank, Venture Fund, the SPDC, and various guarantee schemes, grant schemes to promote small business, but we must find a way so that more private sector capital is brought to bear, because quite frankly, the government does not have the resources that is needed to really sustain that sector. I believe overall, it is the responsibility of the government to ensure that it fosters the right environment to do business. So stability in public finances, low deficits, a sustainable debt profile, and a tax environment that is not onerous and that is predictable.
Minister Halkitis is also of the opinion that a society focused more on saving and investment and less on consumerism would help the country's economic development. And finally, the Ministry of Public Works and Utilities is calling residents of southwestern New Providence to attend a town hall meeting where discussions will be had and information shared regarding the Gladstone Road Improvement Project. The Gladstone Road corridor has been long overdue for improvements, with the Ministry of Works revealing in December that the road improvement project, which was originally set to start at the end of 2022 but rescheduled to begin mid-2023, will last for 2 years. Last month, Bahamix began the first phase with road paving. Tomorrow, February 28th at 6 p.m., Ministry of Works officials will host a town hall meeting for constituencies impacted, including Tall Pines, Carmichael, Golden Isles, Southern Shores, and the Kalani Shores constituency. Owners of businesses on the Gladstone Road corridor are also invited to attend that meeting at the National Training Agency. That'll do it for your JCN Evening News. Once again, I'm Jerino Saunders. Thanks for joining us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.